So right through here, I'm going to start out. That's kind of my largest damage area. That right there is actually what was left behind from the dent after doing the crown work. So I'm going to go in and make my pushes on the inside of there, little by little, pushing it just hard enough to move the metal, but not hard enough, not so hard that you actually crack the paint. So that should be our slogan here, pushing it hard enough to move the metal, but not so hard that you actually crack the paint. Now I'll begin making these little pushes all the way through here. Just cleaning up the damage little by little, and now I'm moving all up into the top. Do you see how I'm trying to close that gap? The more precise you are on your pushes, the quicker and easier this will become. Now I'm going to make it look super easy for you, and over time you're going to be able to do it this way as well, just with little pushes. And what we're doing here, we're going to want to repeat the same procedure on the bottom of the dent. Alright guys, so one of the reasons why this crown was in so tight right here at the bottom, now that I'm trying to actually push it up, I realized that we have a brace running through here. And I did know that when I was tapping on it. However, I didn't know that the glue was going to be so strong that we would have to go in there and cut it. Now this is 90s glue. This is not your Gojo glue. And when I say Gojo glue, if you look at some of my tech tips, one of them would be using that to cut, underneath glue on braces or on side panels of doors. And there's a lot of glue that when you dip it in some Gojo hand cleaner and you go in behind the brace, you can cut the glue rather easily. Not this 90s glue, especially on this make and model. You actually got to go in there and heat it with a torch. And again, be very careful when you go in through here, pushing this boot aside so you don't touch any wires or anything to that nature. But you can actually slip in behind everything and cut some of that, cut that skin, the door skin, off of the brace where it's glued. So you check it out right here how I'm going to do it. Incredible audio there for you, I'm guessing. So now we actually got the glue. You can see it coming off right here. Cut away from the door skin, cut away from the brace under here, and got that glue out of the way, and now I can work some of them little spots with this whale tail. Of course, one thing you want to remember, you got to be quick with this, because if you leave it on there too long, you can burn the paint. Quick, very fast, and get in, get out, and then when you go to use this tool, you want to make sure that you cool it off. A lot of times I go ahead and dip it in my Gojo, so we just got a little bit of an extra cut after I've got this glue out of the way, and it also allows it to move a little bit more freely throughout the brace, being smashed in between the brace and the skin. Alright, so now we're inside of here with the whale tail underneath that brace. Just going to make little pushes all the way through here until we get all these little spots ironed out. Now we're at a point in the dent where we can actually use the sharper tip, nylon tip knockdown, and you can kind of see about how sharp the tip is there. I'm going to go in here and just blend this area out. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is use the sharp knockdown up here on the actual top of the crown. And what we're going to do, we're going to go around this thing kind of like we did to begin with, just blending and tapping, and we're going to actually cross-check it from every angle. So kind of the same procedure we started with, but we're going to be doing it with this knockdown. So one of the things I'm going to be doing to finish this dent up and to find it out, I'm going to be doing a lot of exchange between my hammer and knockdown and my tool. So as I push up, I'm going to blend out. Push up, blend out, until eventually we get this dent pretty much flat. We want to take my light back at a tight reflective angle and finish it up by flattening it out. On this particular repair, we're looking for about a 95% removal, which they'll be more than happy, and you'll kind of get an idea. We'll do a natural shot outside as well as the after product. And you can get an idea of what you can expect for a 95%. Alright, so last but not least, I'm actually going to go in for some more pushing and to cross-check the damage from this way. So there's just a little bit left that we can define out here, so we're going to be using this ratcheting handle PDR Finesse door tool. And let me kind of show you how I'm going to get in there. I'm going to This is an awful high window, but we can still get in right around it. We can just actually pop our window wedge right there. I'm gonna slide this tool right in there. Put a little pressure, give me some room to move around. And from here, what's nice is I can adjust my handle to get a comfortable push. So I'm just going to run across this and do my cross-checking from this angle. From the other angle going in through the window, we're going to go in and do a little bit of blending with the blending hammer. Now what that does for me, the further your head is away from the damage and the further the light is pushed back, the more detail that you can see. So what this blending hammer does, it gives me an extension. So I can extend all the way out here. My head is that much further opposed to using a hammer and knockdown where I got to be in here or over here or over here. So that actually gives me however long the blending hammer is. It probably gives me a few inches additional because I can kind of turn my shoulder out and I can get this major stretch and major length in what I'm doing here. Alright, so the very last thing, you always want to remember to re-plug your wiring harness boot right here. If you don't put that back in place, whenever it rains, water will go right into the inside of the door. And that's not good for anybody. So just step back here. In this situation, we can just line it up. Just kind of manipulate it back into place until you feel a seal all the way around the edge. So that right there is what it's supposed to look like whenever you're finished. Alright guys, so here's the finished product, and this is about what I would consider, again, a 90 to maybe 95% repair. It's going to be plenty good enough for what we wanted for this specific situation. And to be honest with you, it'd be plenty good enough for 95% of the situations that you're in. If you're like me and you're in an area of the country who the economy is not doing the greatest, you're going to find more people that want these 90 to 95% repairs. So we'll get a couple more shots of it. I just want you to, get a feel of exactly what that means. Alright guys, so again, I just want to show you exactly what, to me, a 90 to 95% removal looks like. Pretty good for what it was in a reasonable amount of time.
Just a guesstimate.
A few little waves here and there, but for about an hour and a half, can't complain.